Having spent 23 years on this floating rock, I've come across my fair share of peculiar content. Mostly from the internet, and sometimes your mom's house. However, in my early childhood days before I even knew what the hell a computer was or how to even socialize, I would often stumble upon strange content on television, much of which was featured on Adult Swim. During the early days of Adult Swim, there was a certain enchantment that can't be denied. Nowadays, the network appears to be prioritizing newer shows with higher quality and longer runtimes of 22 minutes, but in the past, the emphasis was on producing inexpensive 11-minute shows that were packed with uproarious humor. Not to say that Adult Swim has completely let go of that low-budget 11-minute philosophy, because those kinds of shows still exist on the network today, but back in the early days, they didn't have Rick and Morty, Royal Crackers, Teenage Euthanasia, etc. They had Aqua Teen, which is coming back, thank God, Perfect Hair Forever, 12-Ounce Mouse, C-Lab, and the star of today's video, one of the most obscure shows from the network's past, Saul of the Mole Men. While I had seen a few episodes in the past, I only recently watched the entire series in full a couple of weeks ago, and I'm here today to discuss this wild and unique piece of media. We're going to talk about the show, the plot, the background, in order to determine whether the series is a true diamond in the rough, or a series that should probably be forgotten about. So hey, if you're excited to dive into Saul of the Mole Men with me, then leave a like on the video, and buckle up, princess, because it's time to burrow our way underground. So what exactly is Saul of the Mole Men? Well, Saul of the Mole Men is a live-action, puppet-animated hybrid comedy series created by Craig Lewis, a former writer for both The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Craig's primary inspiration behind this series were Sid and Marty Krofft's Land of the Lost television series, the Tom Baker era of Doctor Who, and the Planet of the Apes franchise. The series first aired on Adult Swim on February 11th, 2007, was directed by Tom Stern, and starred Josh Gardner as Saul Malone and Johnny Tambourine, along with Robot, who was voiced by Frank Pontenza, Hugh Davidson as Bertram Burroughs, Jeff Bennett as Clancy Burroughs, Irina Voronina as Falopia, Dana Snyder as Strata Operator Number 1, Gary Anthony Williams as Strata Operator Number 2, Arturo Gil as Lil Burroughs, and Carlos, I don't really know, as Stromulus Gondor, the Bird Bat Leader. The theme song was also performed by the legendary co-creator of South Park, Trey Parker, which I thought was pretty cool. There are a total of 20 episodes and one unaired pilot, each episode consisting of 11 minutes in length. And although it may seem logical to begin the discussion of the series with the unaired pilot, but in reality, it doesn't matter as much since all of the events from the pilot are presented again, albeit modified in the first episode. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this deep-fried nightmare of a plot. So the series began as a promo for a show titled Strata, about a group of adventurers traveling to the land below the crust of Earth. The team consisted of Captain Jim J. James, Lieutenant Jen E. James, Robot, Kiko the Mute Wild Boy, Geologist Saul Malone, and of course Don Rogers. Following the introduction, the Strata crew are brutally bombarded by boulders. Wow! That accidental alliteration, leaving Saul, Robot, and pop sensation Johnny Tambourine, who is trapped in a hibernation chamber. Once outside of the drill, Saul becomes aware of the fact that he is now in a geological paradise, and reveals that his ultimate goal is to search for evidence to prove his own theory that there are sentient rocks which had descended from a huge mother rock. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, this plot is fucking insane, so just bear with me. Saul and the team soon discover that they are not alone, as there are numerous monsters and creatures residing underground, such as the mole people, bird bats, the chinacula, and even a floating pancake. In need of assistance, Saul attempts to locate the Strata transmitter to communicate with the surface level, and eventually succeeds in finding it, but not in the way he had anticipated. Interestingly, the friendly Mole King possesses the transmitter, but Saul unexpectedly stabs the king in the head with it because
I didn't mean to kill you, but I get nervous in social situations.
Following the Mole King's demise, a power struggle ensues between his two sons, Bertram Burroughs, the older and malevolent son, and Clancy Burroughs, the more intelligent and reliable son. In the middle of this, Saul encounters a talking, self-aware rock who motivates him to take charge of the Mole People, who are in the middle of holding a popular vote to select their new king. Despite an extensive election campaign, Saul is defeated by the Burroughs, But, unexpectedly, Johnny Tambourine emerges victorious over everyone, resulting in a surprising turn of events. Saul becomes enraged by his loss and strangles Johnny, resulting in his imprisonment until his trial, which turns out to be a battle in a coliseum against a monstrous worm. With little hope left, Bertram offers Saul an opportunity to work on Project Thunderhole, a treacherous scheme that involves digging a massive hole leading to the surface layer. Saul is spared by the worm and accepts the offer. Bertram kicks off the project with a lively cocktail party featuring drinks, snacks, and a piñata, but it turns out that the piñata is actually a mutant girl named Falloppia, who soon finds herself entangled in a love triangle with Johnny Tambourine and Saul. During the midst of all of this, the Strata team on the surface is attempting to establish contact with the original Strata team, who tragically perished in a boulder accident. In order to comprehend the situation, eventually they manage to reach the mole world via another drill, but meet their doom soon after. There's a brief moment where Saul spends some quality time with Clancy's son Lil and helps him begin puberty, which I know sounds very fucking wild, and trust me, it is. It's so fucking obscure, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. Look, here's a clip from that episode on screen, just let your imagination go crazy. Eventually the Mother Rock plot comes together when a war between mole people and bird bats kicks off after Lil goes ballistic from too much testosterone and slaughters a bunch of bird bats in order to save Saul from Stromulus, the leader of the bird bats. The reason why Stromulus kidnapped Saul in the first place is because he holds the yellow stone, one of 3 very powerful stones, the other 2 being the blue stone, which is given to Saul by John Henry, an old folk hero, and the red stone, which is quite literally inside of Saul's body. Look, I know you're very confused, but again, just bear with me. So Stromulus is working for Otnip, which is the most dangerous monster in the underground. He's like a demon, and he needs these stones to power the Mother Rock for his master plan of world domination. If Stromulus helps Otnip, there's a chance that he'll get to revive his dead wife and now dead daughter, who had a thing with Johnny Tambourine after him and Falloppia broke up, but was accidentally shot by her own father twice during hers and Johnny's wedding. However, Saul brings all 3 stones to the Talking Rock, who, as it turns out, is just Otnip in disguise. He tricks Saul into giving him the stones to power the Mother Rock. Once the stones energize the Mother Rock, a laser will travel into space via the new Thunderhole, dug by Bertram, who steals the drill used by the Strata operators to reach Saul. And this laser is meant to summon meteors to Earth to bring about its destruction, and Benjamin Franklin is also involved in this plot. Oh, Jesus Christ, where's the booze? The season finale aired on July 15th, 2007, and ends with Saul and the team finding a pyramid which doubles as a spacecraft. Everything seems hopeful until things take a dark, twisted turn when the Rock Assassins, which are just Jim J. James and Jen E. James's bodies, with rock heads who, when combined together, form a giant rock monster, appear. Saul, Clancy, and Stromulus Gondor put aside their differences and team up to defeat the Giant, which frees the former captains from their rock casings. They pass away soon after, but everything changes when Saul's arch-rival from the Tallahassee Geological License Review Board, Nathaniel Baltimore, shows up to crap all over his Mother Rock theory. Everybody hops aboard the spacecraft, including Clancy's brother, despite the fact that he is a piece of shit. But their takeoff is interrupted by Otnip. In an attempt to make sure the takeoff is successful, Clancy sacrifices himself to stop Otnip. I would have preferred it if Bertram sacrificed himself instead of Clancy, but, you know, that's just me. Would have been a very cool redemption arc for him, but, you know, whatever. Missed opportunity. The ship eventually finds its way into outer space, and the episode ends just like how the series began, with a promo for the new Strata Team, aka Strata Team Space, featuring Saul, Falloppia, Bertram, Stromulus, Mrs. Burroughs, Lil Burroughs, Nathaniel, the Floating Pancake, and Chinacula, thus completing the first season. So, what happens next? Do Strata Team Space fight off the meteors in Season 2? Well, you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say next. So Adult Swim aired a Halloween marathon on October 31st, 2008, featuring only cancelled shows including Saul of the Mole Men, which confirmed its cancellation. Presumably, the show was cancelled due to poor ratings, as many viewers share the sentiment that Saul is an unamusing and chaotic production. May it rest in peace. You know, there are instances where Adult Swim successfully creates great content, but occasionally they miss the mark, and personally, when Saul of the Mole Men was broadcasted, I wasn't super entertained. Then again, I was like 7 years old, but that's besides the point. In fact, there were even moments where I switched over to Nick at Night during its airing. As much as the George Lopez show's opening theme song used to frighten me as a kid, I made like Scott Stapp, the lead singer of Creed, and welcomed George Lopez with arms wide open during the Saul of the Mole Men block. However, after watching the full series as a 23-year-old man, I have come to realize that it's not as bad as I once thought it was. In fact, there were many noteworthy and enduring moments throughout the series that I found enjoyable. Which is crazy because I don't find anything enjoyable anymore. Let me give you guys some examples. Saul of the Mole Men did not disappoint when it came to delivering strange, awkward, and uncomfortable content, which is like my guilty pleasure when it comes to television shows. And there was one scene in particular that made me laugh so hard I had to go take a dump. It was during the Mustache Ride episode, where Saul rubbed peanut butter on Fallopia's mouth to communicate with her, and and then she proceeded to suck his finger. Irina Voronina was definitely not paid enough for that scene alone. Give that woman a fucking Oscar. I found the B-plot of the episodes featuring Dana Snyder and Gary Anthony Williams to be highly entertaining, as their on-screen collaboration was outstanding. The show also features a plethora of intriguing characters, such as the Fire People, Otnip, and John Henry. Out of all of the episodes, What's Happening Down There stood out to me as a personal favorite. Watching Lil and Saul hang out and like navigate puberty together was kind of heartwarming and also really fucking weird. Okay, that's a good gag too. I like that. The altercation between Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin in the episode Poor Clancy's Almanac was particularly amusing to me too, probably due to my fondness for Dana Snyder and who I'm assuming is Dave Willis. Dave Willis appears as one of the Fire People in Saul of the Mole Men, but he wasn't credited for his role. This looks like Dave Willis. I swear to God, I think this is Dave Willis. I'm like 99% sure it is. Seeing these two guys in those costumes really reminds me of the Colonial Man band skit from the Space Ghost episode Baffler Meal, in which Dave Willis, Matt Malero, Jay Edwards, and Hunter McRae dressed up in powdered wigs and 18th century attire and performed on stage at the South Fork Restaurant Smith's Old Bar. What an amazing performance that was. And the fight scene between Dana and Dave was great too. In general, Saul of the Mole Men is a somewhat mediocre show that features insane characters, absurd storylines, and bizarre moments. Would I personally suggest this series to anyone? Well, it wouldn't be at the top of my list, and it probably wouldn't even make it into my top 500 recommendations. Nevertheless, it's not a terrible show. If you enjoy crude humor, low-budget live action, and have a limited attention span, then you might find Saul of the Mole Men amusing. The full series can be found on Adult Swim's website, and the unaired pilot is also available on YouTube. Not completely off topic, but if you have viewed my Cartoon Network Invaded video, you may already be aware of a Saul of the Mole Men Easter egg concealed in the Cheese A Go Go episode of Foster's Home Invaded. At the start of the episode, the USPS is shown stamping and sending off a package addressed to Saul Malone of William Street, Georgia. This Easter egg was a subtle acknowledgement to Craig Lewis for his contribution to Foster's home. It's a pretty neat little Easter egg, and I figured it'd be a fun way to end off today's video. Anyways, leave a comment below letting me know whether you would be interested in me exploring other lesser known Adult Swim shows in future videos, and if that's the case, which particular shows would you like me to revisit? If you guys enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new around here. Click the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a brand new video. Follow me on all of my social links and join my flaming hot Discord server. Links are in the bio below. Have a great day, everyone, and remember that John Henry is an American hero.